Hi, in this video I wanted to revisit a topic that I touched on in the video number 3 in the series on installing Debian. And in that video I was doing a basic post-install configuration of my system, and there was a point at which I decided to enable auto login in the console. And the way I did it in that video wasn't probably the best way. It wasn't really, probably wasn't the really bad way either. But I since did some more research, and I decided that it would be worthwhile to revisit this topic a little bit and talk about how you can set it up in a little bit better way. And also in the video that followed that one, in the video number 4, where I was installing the window manager, I also enabled or configured my shell in such a way that the window manager would start automatically upon that auto login of the console. And there's also a slight tweak to that I wanted to cover in this video. So this is what we're gonna talk about in this one. So let's switch to this screen view, and basically this is the page that I used as instructions for setting up auto login in my previous video, but I kind of did it not really the way that is described here, and I actually edited a different file, even though it gave pretty much the same result. It's better to do it as it is suggested here, but also there's a couple of more pages that I used to kind of figure out what is the best way, and basically these 3 pages, and I'm gonna talk about what my conclusions were on that. So let's just go ahead and open up VirtualBox. So I had have quite a few snapshots at this point, but what I'm going to do now, I'm going to revert the VM to the state that it was that I had it in at the beginning of the video number 3, where I was setting up that auto login, so that we can basically do it again and have the VM in that exact same state. So I reset or restored the snapshot, and I'm going to go ahead and start the virtual machine. So no auto login is enabled yet, so I'm going to log in. I'm also going to, before we do anything like the main thing that we wanted to do, I'm going to increase the font size in the console so that we can see things better. Alright, so let's use this one. Okay, so right, so let's go back to that page we started with. So first thing that it says edit your etc systemd-login-d.conf and change this line to this. And what this does is basically, so in Debian, when you install it with just the command line interface, you get 6 consoles ready for you to use by default. So this is TTY1. TTY stands for teletype, referring to kind of older devices that people used before I don't know, like, let me just, I'll show you what I mean in a second. But basically, if I type TTY, I get the name of this this device, which is TTY1. So this is the first console. And you can switch between them by pressing the key combination Control Alt and then use your function keys, so F keys, F1, F2, and so on, to switch between consoles. So Control Alt and F1 for the first one, F2 for the second one, and so on. In VirtualBox, though, you can't use Control Alt, but you need to use your host key, and your host key is shown over here in the bottom right hand corner. You can also change the host key if you prefer by going to File, Preferences, and then going to Input, and here a host key combination. You can change it over here, but by default it's right control, at least on Linux. I think it's something else on the Mac. I'm pretty sure, but regardless. So basically, if you press Control F2, you get switched to TTY2, and it says so over there. Where's my? Oh, right, my mouse got captured. But over here it says TTY2, and now if I press host key F3. I get switched to TTY3 and so on, but we don't really need to use those. I just want to show you what they are. There's also this page over here on Debian Wiki that kind of briefly explains, just give you some information about the consoles, and yeah, also this ArchWiki page is pretty good. And oh, actually, not this one. I was thinking of this one that this Debian wiki page links to, and it explains over here about like what the origin of these consoles is, and basically somewhere over here, yeah, it was kind of it showed what the original devices looked like. So this is like a hardware terminal that people used before we had like more modern hardware. That's what I wanted to kind of explain when I couldn't quite find the words for it. But this is basically it. So this console emulates this device basically. So this is what it is. I thought it was just kind of interesting to mention that, so you can read more about it on this page, and all of these links will be in the description to this video. So right, that's that. But basically what this does is you can reduce the number of default terminals that you get if you want. You can edit this file and do that. So like if I go sudo nano etc systemd login-d.conf, you can edit this line which says an auto vts. VT stands for virtual terminal, and you can set it like this page says set it to 1. I'm not really sure why that is like necessary. I did change it because I thought, well, I mean, I'll probably run like a window manager most of the time, so like there's not much point in running 6 consoles. But on the other hand, also somewhere in this on these pages, I'm pretty sure, or maybe I read it elsewhere, but in any case it also said that like they are like on standby. So unless you actually press Control Alt F2, F3, F4, they're not actually launched. And like if you have modern computers probably won't have any problem with them like being there in the background, but if you want, you can change the number over here, and you can set it to like 1. Also, there's this other line which I also looked into. It says reserve VT. So you can reserve one virtual terminal to always be run, even if like this, regardless of what this number is. So like by default it's 6. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to change any of these options right now because they're not really relevant to what we're discussing. But you can also take a look at the man page for login-d.conf, and it will explain and give you some more information here about these two options. They're the first two listed, and so you can read more about it here and decide what you want to do. But I think like literally it doesn't really matter, because like out of these 3 guides that I used, only the first one for some reason suggests that you do this. So I don't know, like it doesn't seem to be really that important. So all right, now let's get into actually like get to the main thing that we wanted to do. Like it says like create this file. And what I did in my previous video by mistake, and the reason I made that mistake is because I think like when I messed with my with another VM previously with Debian as well, I just like I edited a different file and then I kind of remembered the path to it, and I didn't look very closely at what it said here. But in my previous video number 3 in the series, I went ahead and just edited this file in lib, not etc, like it says over here, but lib systemd system and then getty at dot service. And so like this is, whoops, well, I'm not gonna be able to save it anyway. But if you go down here, there's this line that says exec start, and it gives you all these options. And so I just edited it here. And then I thought, well, when I realized I edited the file in the lib folder, I thought, well, that's probably not a good idea, because I mean, I'm thinking that the system, when it gets updated, it might just overwrite that file. And even if it doesn't, it's probably not a file that is intended to be edited by a user. And the reason I think that is because there is this like other file that you can create that will override this file with the default settings. So that's probably a better thing to do. So that's why I wanted to just like make another video and just like explain this more thoroughly. But basically I edited this file, so probably not the best way to do it. It still worked and probably wouldn't cause any huge issues like if you did it that way, but I don't know. Like it's probably better to do it in this other file, because in this etc folder it's specifically for configuration files. So that's probably where you should edit a thing like this. Okay, so I'll exit out of this. So this file is not what you should edit, basically. But instead, you can create this file. And it also gives here a command to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm pretty sure it'll just do the same thing. So it's sudo. It doesn't say sudo here, but without sudo it won't work. System ctl edit getty at tty1. Well, let's just try without sudo. It will say failed to create. So if I do sudo, then it opens up this thing. So like I guess it just gives you some information. I think it's pretty much the same what we stuff that we saw in that lib file in that lib folder. Yeah, I guess we can give it a go and try editing this. But basically I'll have to type this anyways, because I'm using Nano, or maybe I could copy some lines from here. I mean, okay, Control K to cut. Like it says over here that lines below this comment will be discarded. So I guess I can just like cut stuff from there and paste it up there at the top. Maybe that's how it's intended to be used. Control K to cut, Control U to paste. Right, okay, so service, so it should be service, then exec start without anything after the equals sign. I tried just to see what happens, like if you just put this one line, the system doesn't boot, so make sure that you put this exec start equals nothing there. So that's yeah, I tried it in a VM and it didn't boot when I didn't put it there. So right, exec start and so on. So now about this line, this is just like a bit weird because like literally like these 3 pages, they address the same thing, but each one of them has its own version of this line. So this one says has this 38400 at the end. I have no idea what that refers to. And then Linux. This one has %i, then the term variable over here. I think Linux is just like the value of term for TTY, perhaps. I think I read it somewhere, so that's what I think that. But in any case, so like these are different, and then the ArchWiki gives yet another version, also with %y and term at the end, but then it also keeps this whole thing, but what it adds is this -f option, which is not there. And I tried it basically in multiple ways, and like if you just use this version, it works. I think I haven't tried like this time or like recently. Maybe I tried it like in the past, but I don't remember. I haven't tried like this stuff, so I don't know what this is gonna do. But this works. Just make sure to put your actual username over here. But yeah, this one works. Then yeah, and this one works as well. So I'm kind of inclined to trust ArchWiki more than anything else. But yeah, like this one works as well. I'm not really sure if this makes any difference or not, but I'm just gonna keep it. Yeah, I haven't been able to find any more explanation as to why should you leave these options or not. Like I don't know, but this is yeah. Oh, and it also has this dash here, but on the ArchWiki it says %i, and I guess that's what I'm gonna put there. So has been a getty -o -p-f no clear autologin alex% term. Okay, so this is this looks right, so I'm gonna save it. Control X and Y to save. So now it should have created this override.conf. So let me check that. I'll go cat etc systemd system, then getty at tty1.service.d. Yeah, override.conf. Well, it looks like it did create it, but it also created a bit of a mess because there's an extra line over here at the top and there's no new line at the end. So I'm just like, it's not terribly important, but I'm gonna just, oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and open it again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if I just like save it again, Nano should take care of that. Yeah. Oh, there is no like extra line. It's just, I think it just wraps because there was a space at the end of this command, but whatever, that's fine. Yeah, there was just a space over there. Here. Okay. But, okay, this should be fine. Let's see, what does it say here? Enable the service. I did not enable it last time and it still worked, so I'm not going to do this time either. Over here it says some stuff about the window manager. I'll get to that in a second. And yeah, so basically right now I'm going to reboot and we should be able to auto log in. Alright, so yep, it worked, looking good. Okay, so now, what are we gonna do now? Now, I wanted to say a few things about the window manager. And oh yeah, like, so about the consoles, so there's like 6 consoles that, like I said before, that are given, like, are set up by default. And basically, they're pretty hard to use because they don't save this, like, they basically, you can't scroll in them. And apparently there was a functionality available for a while in Linux up until version 5.9, at which point it was dropped, and you can read it in this article from September 2020. It says like they explain why they decided to drop it. It basically has to do with the fact that it's like difficult to maintain that code that no one really uses very much apparently. So yeah, like if you have, I don't know, like if I just go ls dash, I don't know what's like bin or something, there we go. So like it outputted a bunch of stuff, but there's no way for me to scroll up. I think it used to be like shift page up, but if I press it, nothing happens. So yeah, but there are ways to still use it. You can install tmux, and if you do that, you can scroll in tmux. So there are ways to use these consoles to just use your computer without a graphical environment. So yeah, they can be useful. But right now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to install the window manager real quick, and maybe I'll throw in the tmux as well to just show you that how you can use console like in a way that is quite flexible and good. You can create like different windows and different panes, so you can have multiple terminals on the same screen. So yeah, let's do that. So, but first of all, let's just install xinit and awesome. That is for the window manager, and then tmux as well. Oh yeah, I forgot. So sudo apt install, and actually I should probably do sudo apt update first. Yeah, that's good. Sudo apt install xinit awesome tmux. Awesome tmux. All right. So let's do that. Okay, so it's finished. So, well, since I started talking about tmux, let me just like launch it. So this is how it looks by default. So if I press, well, by default it's Control B, and then the double quote key creates two panes. Then Control B C creates another window, and you can see like over here at the bottom it says 0 and 1, and so you have two windows, and you can create like panes vertically as well and horizontally. And so yeah, and you can configure it to your liking. So basically, let me see how. So if I press Control B and 0, I can switch to the first window, and I'm kind of struggling to remember the defaults for. Right, okay, so Control B up and down and like left and right can switch between panes. If I press Control B Z, I can zoom in on just one pane and just hide the other one temporarily. It shows the Z over here at the bottom. And if I just like go ls/bin, it outputs a bunch of stuff. And let me see if I can remember. Control B, left bracket, I think, and I can go up now. So this can scroll, and yeah, I can even like there's like you can use like Vim keys and stuff like that to go up and down. It's really good, basically. I use it all the time. You can set up your own sessions and like, yeah, it's a very useful program. So I highly recommend you look into it if you haven't yet. So basically, let me shut this down. There's just something that I wanted to show real quick. Okay, but now back to the window manager thing. So the way that you can launch it automatically, so like first of all, like manually, you can launch it by typing startx and then press enter, and then it launches. And then you can quit it from this menu. But I mean, you probably don't want to do that every time you turn on your computer. So this page suggests that you put this in your .pro file in your home folder. So let's do that, but we are gonna tweak it a little bit because there's a bit of a problem with this way of doing it. So in nano.profile, so by default on Debian it already comes with some content here, but we're gonna just go to the end of it, like it says over here, to the end, and that makes sense. So I'm gonna just type what it says there, and I'm gonna like add a comment like launch startx tty equals /dev/tty1 $% exec startx. So this is what it says by default. I'm just checking if I typed it correctly. All right, looks okay to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna reboot real quick to show what happens when you do it this way. So it did launch awesome like we wanted, but like if you wanted to quit awesome at any point, if I go quit, it quits, but then it immediately starts back again. And in order to fix that, you can open terminal again. If it is it gonna open? Well, this sucks. I guess I'll just use one of the virtual consoles that we have. So yeah, let me just log in here. So what you can do to fix that is you can dot profile. You can remove the exec from this command, and then it will be able to quit. Yes, but also there's one other small problem, but I guess okay, let me just first like reboot again and just show that like if you reboot now that it will do what we want it to do, or like that it will be able to quit without restarting again. All right, so awesome, quit. So yeah, now it exited like expected. So what I'm gonna do right now, yeah, I'm going to just install another terminal real quick so that I can run something within awesome. Sudo apt install xfce 4-terminal. All right, so now let's start X again. Okay. Now we have XFCE terminal. Um, Alright, so I'm kind of curious about the default terminal. It's called Zutty. Z-U-T-T-Y. It's really odd. Oh, now I must have installed something that installed that Zutty terminal last time, so now I only have a XFCE. Well, that's good because now like I prefer this one anyways, so that's also good to know. Like probably one of the packages that I installed had Zutty in it as a dependency probably, but in any case, so now we can quit. Awesome if we want to, but there's also like one other small problem. Basically, when you run tmux, it's actually a good thing that I installed it, because now I can show you exactly what that problem is. Like if you run tmux, it starts a login shell. Like usually, like if I open just like a tab in this terminal, it's a non-login shell, and you can check that by looking at the 0 parameter. It just says bash, but if I type it over here in tmux, it's a dash bash, so that indicates that it's a login shell. But like what the login shell does is it reads the .profile file. So like if I go lsa, we have the bash rc here. You also have the .profile. So .profile always gets read by the login shell, or a login shell, and then bash rc as well. Like in any case, .profile, like if I just open it, it reads the bash rc in here. Like this part over here, it says like that basically read bash rc if it exists. So both of them get read by the login shell, but the non-login shell only reads bash rc. So, but what we have at the end of our .profile, which a login shell reads, like tmux, or just this kind of but like the console, because this is a login shell as well. Here, dash bash as well. So right, so what we have at the end over here is this command, and the way it is written right now, it has this conditional statement over here. Like it says basically test tty if tty equals dev tty1. Like if output of the tty command equals dev tty1, and if it succeeds, then run startx. But like if it fails, the exit code of the failed command. So basically, like if I go like I don't know, like just as an example, like 0 equals 1. If I run that, and then if I check, the exit code is going to be 1, which means error or failure. So this test failed. But if it's like 0 equals 0, then it's going to exit with 0. So if this fails, basically the last exit code before we get into our actual session, like for example, I'm going to open another pane in tmux, or I'm going to, right, I'm just used to different key mapping, but Control B and then double quote, I open a new pane, and then I go echo the last exit code, and it, or crap, hold on a second, let me do that again. Control X or Control B, X to close the pane and just open it again. If I echo dollar question mark to see the last exit code, it's gonna be 1. And the problem with that is, like, if you have a prompt that like this default prompt doesn't include an exit code, but sometimes people like to configure it in such a way that you always see the exit code of the previous command in your prompt. And I do have such a prompt, and I'm gonna actually show it to you in a second. It's just like it's in a different snapshot of this VM. I'm just gonna switch to that, and I'll show you how it looks. But basically, if you had that exit code in your prompt, every time you open a new pane or a new window in tmux, or start a new session, basically open a new terminal within tmux, a new terminal session within tmux, it will always show like this red 1 exit code that like every session will start with a failure, and that just doesn't make any sense. So like the way to fix it is to just rewrite this come on, Control B up, right? Control B up. I'm so used to just different hotkeys for tmux. So we should write it like it's written over here. If then this test, and then semicolon, then new line probably, so it's more readable, and then fi to close the if statement. And so like this way it's gonna do pretty much this, almost exactly the same thing. The only difference will be is that like if I now close this pane, first go to it, then close it, and then open one again, and then I check the last exit code, is gonna be 0. So now there is no failure at the first prompt. So this is much better, because like this if statement, if you write it like this, that's not what we were editing, but same thing. This if statement always will return 0, because like it returns success, but like the way it was written before, it was just sense, like if it was like this, it basically says like run this part, and like at this point, did it succeed? If it didn't succeed, that's the last thing that happened, so the exit code will be that. So that doesn't really work very well. So this fixes it. So I'm probably already dwelling on this for way too long. So let me just go ahead and shut this virtual machine down, since I wanted to sudo shut down now. I'm just gonna save a snapshot. What did I do? Like reconfigured autologin. And I'll just go back to my last snapshot, and I'll show you how the prompt looks. I should have probably done it in some. I should have probably had my file ready so that I could show you right away, but it's not a big deal. So let's start a terminal. So so here's tmux, like the way I have it configured. Let me just snap this like this. So so yeah, so here's the prompt that I have. It has an exit code here. It says 0. But like if I go ahead and just like edit that vim, or not vim, but the .config .profile file, and just like write it like it was before, and I just like open a new pane, it says 1 and starts with like with a failed exit code, and that's just like super annoying. It took me a while to figure out why that was, but this is why. So yeah, it's quite handy to have an exit code in your prompt, because like you can always see if a command succeeded, and if there was an error, you will immediately notice it, because like I have it set up such that it shows up in red, and you can see it very easily, and you won't miss if there was an error. So yeah, it's very useful. I'll share this prompt at some point in another video. So yeah, this is what I wanted to basically show in this video. Let me just see if so yeah, there was this other forum thread that I came across while researching this whole thing, and the person here, like, basically there is kind of one other issue that I haven't solved, but it's not really that big a deal, and so I'll probably just not gonna bother with it. But like if so this is another way you can quit awesome from the command line, and I removed it from my menu because I don't want to accidentally quit awesome when when I'm running a bunch of programs, and then it's just gonna kill everything, and that's not good. So I removed it from the menu, and the way you can remove it from the menu is you do it in your config /awesome rc.lua, and if you search for quit, you can just like comment out this line like I did, and it'll remove it from the menu. Just a quick thing to mention. But if I just quit awesome now, and here's, by the way, the same prompt in console, so it's kind of nice to have it here as well. But yeah, like if I log out, so this session had like an automatic login, and so if I just go log out, it won't log me out, or if it will, but like I think it just logs you immediately back in, and then just relaunches awesome. So that might be not what you expect, and if you want to research any further, basically there's this thread that like where people try to solve it. I tried what's been suggested here, and it didn't work for me, but I might have missed something, because like yeah, I haven't gone into it very deeply. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. I reserved this first TTY for running awesome, basically, and that works. So there's no need to do anything more than that. So So yeah, this is basically it. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover, and probably even more than that. Like all the little things, little tangents. Hopefully some of that information was useful to you, or interesting at least. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video valuable and that it helps you configure your system the way you want. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.